Days 2 and 3 of NaNoWriMo were a struggle. So on day 2, I was 700 words behind by the end of the day. That day was really busy. I had to see a lot of people. There was a lot of activities that probably I should have said no to, which is something I sometimes have a problem with, even though social things exhaust me. I still sometimes find it hard to say no. And I told myself that I would have time to keep going and finish when I got home, but that was not the case. And I really wore myself out because when I woke up on Saturday, I just felt awful. Not just physically, but emotionally. So I have a lot of different mental health problems which can slow me down, affect my function in daily life, and that was a day where it just seemed impossible that I would be able to get anything done. But it was the day of the first write-in of my region of the month, so I knew I had to go because I was many people's lift to get in. So I went, but I don't write very much at write-ins, and I was in a bit of a dark place while I was there, and it was really nice to see everyone, but that doesn't change kind of what's happening internally. And I did not write very much while I was there. And then I went home, and I was supposed to be going to a friend's house after that, and it was just a mess. I didn't end up properly getting home with time to sit down to write until sort of gone 10 o'clock. And my partner said, we're going to write now, and we're going to just keep writing. So I stayed up, and I wrote, and then when I would have gone to bed, he kept writing, so I kept writing too. And by the end of the day, rather the beginning of the next day, because I was writing until 1 a.m., which is very late for me, by the end of the day, we had written... I had caught up to Saturday's par target. So now I am awake on the morning of day 4, and it's now time for me to write my 1667 for the day. I'm going to see my family later. I am looking forward to that, but it will interrupt my writing. I'm going to bring my writing stuff with me because one of my sisters is doing NaNoWriMo, and she might... help me squirrel away somewhere and write for part of the time that I'm there. But if I can somehow get it all out now before I go, then that will take a lot of the pressure off, and I can still write when I get back. Although I cannot stay up until 1 a.m. tonight, so I need to have some plans regarding that. I need to get on with it right now. Story-wise, it's slow. It was going slowly, but I had this realization that I cannot write characters in a vacuum. I can't write characters on their own, rather. In all of the books that I've most loved, both reading and writing, there's a large amount of interaction between characters. I believe that's where the most conflict comes from. That's where the most humor comes from. Just a character walking around trapped in their own head feels a little too much like being trapped in my head. And I realized at the beginning of the story, I immediately separated my main character from the other characters, and that was a huge mistake. So, however awkwardly, I kind of shunted her back into the company of others, and immediately it picked up, and now I'm getting the hang of those characters and who they are and how I want to do this. So that was an interesting discovery for me. It's the kind of thing that I think I knew kind of subconsciously, but I'd never kind of explicitly told myself that I need to keep the characters together. I can mix around groups and do stuff like that, but there needs to be interaction in most of my scenes, and in probably all of my scenes, even if not all the way through. So I'm learning about myself this NaNoWriMo, which I think is part of the kind of idea of it. It's part of why I do it. I'd love to hear how you're doing. Are you as tired as me? Are you struggling as much? Or is this really easy for you this year? Are you just breezing through? Yeah, I'll talk to you again soon, and thank you for listening.